Hey everyone, today's Sunday, October 13th, 2024, and this is another video about the coming Pi COVID variant. And I have some breakthrough information and I want to share with you guys. So I made other videos about this, but I think I might have just nailed down the time frame and even found exact dates for what's coming with this. So right now, nobody really cares about COVID, right? It's kind of like, yeah, okay, it doesn't seem like anything important anymore. It's kind of not. And nobody's worried about another variant because generally, when a virus mutates, it gets weaker. It spreads more, but it gets weaker. That's how it goes. But, however, I remember when COVID was really a big thing in 2020, and they were saying how this monster variant could occur whenever. And I'm just wondering how they're going to sell it to the people, because I think if it does occur, and I think it will, I think this may be a deadlier variant, possibly the deadliest that we've had, affecting the brain. I think they're going to come out with a story saying that China created a new variant of COVID in a lab. And I think it's going to be to go to war with China, because nobody wants like the superpowers to go to war because we have nuclear weapons, right? Nobody wants anything to do with nuclear bombs being dropped on countries, because that would just be horrible, right? And so the government would need approval for a lot of people, from a lot of the population, to accept like going into war, to bombing China facilities that are labs or something that created this virus, which could escalate into World War III. And so I think that's my theory on how they would come out with this, if it's going to be a much deadlier variant, which they're saying, which maybe they would say it kills millions of people, right? Then you get the approval from the people. Okay, we're dying out here. We have to bomb them. We have to bomb their labs or something like that. So that's my theory. But anyways, let's get into it. So right here, the Greek alphabet. I talked about this before. The variants are named in order, according to the Greek alphabet. We've already dealt with all these, except they skipped over these two. But we have all heard of the Delta. That was supposedly the worst, deadliest one. And right now we're in Omicron. So the next one, it would be called Pi. And that's where we're at now. But we've been dealing with Omicron since 2021. So the only thing that's changed is they say subvariants of Omicron have occurred. So I think it's going to happen this year still, in the year of the dragon, because the dragon is attacking the split brain. We are in the year of the green dragon. The green wooden dragon is really what it is. And this dragon on this blackboard, below the blackboard, is green. And in the movie Pi, they oddly show, just at random, it looks like a brain on the subway floor. Right, I think he's actually hallucinating, and he's poking it with a pen, and it looks like it's hemorrhaging, right? And at the end of the movie, he drills a hole in his head, and he even has severe headaches. He's grabbing his head. There's something wrong with his brain in the movie. So there's a lot of focus on this. So that's why I think this is going to be the Pi variant, the brain splitting, in the year of the dragon, which actually ends on January 28th, 2025. The year of the snake begins the 29th of next year, January 29th. And the other thing that's split is this apple. It splits into two 8 shapes, and I said that I believe this is also a metaphor for the brain splitting. It could be a metaphor for an earthquake, the earth splitting open, right? It's been talked about that it relates to Jupiter. Probably several other things, because this video is very multi-layered. So if we look at Missouri, they're the only state that has the 314 area code. And they happen to be the 24th state, like the year 24, this year short form, or 2024. It's another clue saying that they may do this in the year 2024 relating to pi. Something else from Pet Goat that I talked about before. Baron Samedi, he has the images, the similarity of the images. So sometimes they do similarities and not exact copies to make it look like, okay, it could be something else, But they did this with the Delta variant. The nose is a triangle, Omicron on his chin. And there we have on his cheek. He has the similarity to the lowercase pi and the uppercase pi right here hidden in his teeth as he blows the party favor. And this is a war scene. So this was connected to Russia invading Ukraine, definitely, in 2022, the year of the tiger, because Baron Samedi touches the girl with the tiger on her jacket. But it's multi-layered because this represents New Year's Eve as well. And COVID, I remember if you go back and look on the internet, the first public story you can find about COVID was right around New Year's Eve in 2019. So it was advertised as a mysterious disease. And it also relates definitely to November 2nd, Halloween, the Day of the Dead. Baron Samedi is all about the Day of the Dead, and that's what this character represents. And this year's Day of the Dead, I'm not sure if it's going to relate to pi. It could be a war scene or could be nothing at all, but it seems like it may be significant because November 2nd, the official Day of the Dead, is exactly 8,800 days after Apple stock dropped 50% in a day. Now, why is that important? Because if you look, the Apple splits. 50% is split in half, right? And there's two 8 shapes. Apple splits, two 8 shapes. Day of the Dead, 8,800 days after this event happened on September 29, 2000. So that's a date to watch. Now, this image up top is the album cover from Supertramp. And this goes along with other things that I wanted to talk about, especially with this movie Life of Pi. And I've taken this from the video Decoding with Cody. He talked about this. The lady holding the orange juice near the Trade Center Twin Towers. And if you reverse this image, you clearly see the numbers 9/11 directly above the Twin Towers, the orange juice. Now, this movie Life of Pi, the book published on the September 11th attacks, 9/11, 2001, the exact date. And in the movie and in the book, there just happens to be an orangutan named Orange Juice, right? And even this pi symbol kind of resembles like the Twin Towers, 2 pillars. So I thought that this pi variant, it was going to happen in the year of the water tiger, right? That was 2022. You see the tiger in the water, tiger in the water. Yet, the monkeypox occurred. And there's connections to when monkeypox occurred. More actually this year, because there was a breakout in 2022, then it happened again in 2024 this year. And of course, there's this monkey named Orange Juice in the boat. And if you look, this year on July 30th, 2024, they declared an outbreak of monkeypox. And if you look, because we have a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse coming up on Pi Day, March 14th, 2025. And they like to do things connecting to the powers that be. They like to do things connecting to eclipses. I first noticed that when I did decodes with 9/11. I saw all the connections, the 322 and 9/11 connections to eclipses over the United States. Because we had the 322 Skull and Bones president in office during 9/11. Well, now we're having these connections with this eclipse on Pi Day, because monkeypox, the outbreak July 30th to the date of this eclipse, is 227 days. Well, this number is also associated with pi because 22 divided by 7 is 3.14. And even in gematria, 22 divided by 7, and ordinal, English ordinal, is 314, number of pi, right? And when the World Health Organization declared it a health emergency, well, guess what? There was 227 days remaining. So even in the movie Life of Pi, the boy was out in the ocean for 227 days. Now, when you look at the date that Kamala Harris became the Democratic presidential nominee, it happened to be exactly 31 weeks and 4 days prior to this coming pi eclipse. And Kamala means lotus flower, right? The lotus emerges out of the split apple. And I believe, as I said, the split apple represents the brain splitting caused by pi. So pi would arrive first, and then the lotus flower emerges, right? And to find the circumference of a circle, you have to use pi. You have to split the circle. So you split the apple, right, with pi. Find the diameter. Diameter times pi equals the circumference. And so the apple splits. The brain, this affects the brain, that I believe. The brain splits, right? One of the big dates that I'm really watching is December 15th. And so the day that Omicron arrived in the US was December 1st, 2021. Well, you take this date to December 15th. It's exactly 3 years, 14 days, the number of pi, right? Omicron is a circle. So it would make sense that they connect the pi variant with the arrival of the Omicron variant. And I think this may arrive in the US, like American Pie. Even the South Korean president sang American Pie at the White House in 2023, April 26. Now, in the movie Back to the Future, this is shown on the stopwatches. Right after Einstein, the dog, travels through time. World's first time traveler, Einstein, October 26, 1985. Right? He travels through time and he arrives, the dog arrives with the stopwatch inside. It's 1:21 because he went through time, he experienced a 1 minute loss. And they're showing that right here, 1:20, 1:21. And this is the exact date that Omicron arrived in the US. And right here, they're showing Einstein in the background. Well, guess what? Einstein was born on Pi Day. So there's your connection to Omicron, Einstein, and Pi. But just this alone, right, it's not enough to say, well, okay, December 15th, just because he showed me that. It doesn't mean a lot. Well, it will when I add some other things. Because when you look at the release date, the re-upload of iPet Goat 2, so it originally came out in 2012, but they took it down, but they re-uploaded it to YouTube on this year, February 5th. And you take this date to December 15th. Well, guess what? It's exactly 314 days. So you have the connection with iPet Goat 2, and you have the 314 connection with Omicron. And so, like I said, makes sense because pi connects with the circle. And guess what else December 15th is? It's also Kislev 14. And what is Kislev? It's the third month on the Jewish calendar. So essentially, it's 314 on the Jewish calendar. It's 314 days after iPet Goat 2's latest release. It's 3 years, 14 days after Omicron hit the US. So now we have three big connections to December 15th. And there's another one too. December 15th to the next eclipse on Pi Day is 2 months and 27 days. The 227 number again. Just like I said, monkeypox outbreak was declared 227 days prior to this eclipse. And a health emergency, 227 days remaining in the year. So wouldn't they do it again with the Pi variant connecting to this Pi eclipse? It sure makes a lot of sense to me. So when you look at this is the fourth connection. So this date is huge, huge watch date for what I see as possibly the beginning of the coming Pi variant or something else related to the Pi variant. Not only that, Pi is the 16th letter of the alphabet, and on December 15th, there are 16 days remaining in the year. So now I'm going to talk about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and how they relate to Pi. So Biden and Harris were elected on November 7th, 2020. The election was on November 3rd, but they didn't declare it official until November 7th. Kamala is the 49th vice president. I put president, but I should have said vice president. And guess what? The number 227 is the 49th prime. And when you take the date that she was elected vice president to this year's coming Pi eclipse, well, it happens to be 227 weeks, with the end date included. And like I said before, she became the Democratic presidential nominee 31 weeks and 4 days to this year's coming Pi eclipse. How about Donald Trump? Well, he was elected November 19th, 2016. Well, guess what? That was the 314th day of the year. And the word Pi variant equals 47. And look, you have 3 matching ciphers just with president alone with 47. And what are we in? We're in the 47th election. The election for the 47th U.S. president. And the World Health Organization was also founded on 4/7. So this leads me to think this is going to be something pretty big. And you look at Donald Trump's birth to the date the World Health Organization was founded, dates reversed. Remember I said to reverse the dates, you have to take this, put it over here, like here. So this would be 4/7, 1946, to 6/14, 1948, the dates reversed. And you have the 227 connection with Trump being born to the World Health Organization being founded. And if you go even further to King Charles, well, guess what? You have another connection. Because he was born in the same year the World Health Organization was founded, exactly 31 weeks, 4 days after its founding date. And he was also born with 47 days remaining in the year. Again, the 47 connection with this year's election, Pi equaling 47 Pi variant. And he was born on the 319th day of the year. Look, when you reverse 319, you get the word Pi. Now the movie Pi, its official release was on July 10th, 1998. A summary of the movie says Max Cohen is a reclusive mathematician obsessed with finding the patterns in the stock market. As he delves deeper into his quest, he uncovers a 216-digit number that may hold the key to universal truths. This discovery attracts attention from various groups, each seeking the number for their own purpose. So they talk a lot about this 216-digit number that he's trying to find. And what is February 16th in 2025? It's the 47th day of the year, just like Pi variant equals 47. Now, when you take the release date of this movie to February 16th, 2025, it's 314 months, 159 days. Well, what is that? It's this number right here. And these are the first 6 digits of the number Pi. matching perfectly its release date to 216 next year, which I think is significant, talking about the 216 number, the World Health Organization being founded on 4/7. And I think this may be the date that they declare a pandemic. So that would make sense with the World Health Organization, because their symbol is a snake, a serpent, right? We are in the year of the dragon, and I think the pandemic may be declared in the year of the snake. And also 216, that's also 6 times 6 times 6. So this image is Draco. That's the name that Hierophant gives him. And Draco translates to dragon, and he has the green scaly skin. So he's green just like the dragon was green in the classroom. And that's who this is as well. His hands are green. And he has the snake on the serpent ring. It's a dollar symbol, but it's the serpent ring, right? And I'm wondering if this is like the brain here, because it's not clear what this exactly is, but I think this may be related to the brain. And so Draco is attacking the child's brain, right? As his head is split open. And he also has the body of a snake. So they're relating to Draco, to the dragon, and the snake. So it would make sense that the pi variant that attacks the brain arrives in the year of the dragon, and the pandemic is declared in the year of the snake. And this is kind of similar to Capricorn right here, right? Capricorn begins December 22nd till January 20th. So as I said before, the apple splitting is caused by pi, and Kamala Harris emerges after the pi variant arrives. And so therefore, Kamala Harris would become president after the election. Not necessarily winning the election. My theory is that they would say that Biden would pass away from this pi variant. And one of the dates that I'm looking at is between January 9th and January 12th, because we have the 322 connections with the 25th Amendment being founded. And if you look at January 12th, it's 3,022 weeks, 2 days apart. It's also 22,000 days exactly, with the end date included, after Kamala Harris was born. Another notable date that I think is very much worth mentioning, but I have no idea if this would be related to pi or just something else. It's November 28th, because that's 2/27 on the Jewish calendar. Exactly 3 months and 14 days before this coming pi eclipse on 3/14, right? And it's the 333rd day with 33 days remaining. So the last slide that I want to show you guys is about personal info that can't be ignored because it seems too much to be a coincidence. I can only equate it to be like divine intervention or something like that, because anyways, December 15th is my mom's birthday. That in itself, that's not so crazy, right? But when you add it to everything else, because December 15th is the day that I showed you guys that I think that may be the date, the beginning date of pi. So my last two relationships were with women in Thailand. So I've been over there like 6 times since 2001, and I had a girlfriend named Pam. But after we stopped talking, she changed her name to Pai. P-A-I. So that's not so uncommon for Thai people to do when they want a new start. They change their names. So it's a lot more common over there than over here. Then after that, in 2017, which was the last time I was there, I met a girl named Pim. I stayed there. I was there for 6 months over there. Actually, we still talk, but I just haven't been able to go back with my job and stuff. I'd like to, but anyways. Her name is Pim, and the first 2 letters of her name are P-I. So you got a girl that changed her name to Pi, and the other one is PIM. First two letters are PI. Then I also currently have a friend who lives near me in Michigan who is also from Thailand, and her name is Pin. So PIN, the first two letters of her name start with P and I. And even the letter P doesn't work on my keyboard. Well, it intermittently works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I usually copy and paste the letter P. And that happened somewhere around the beginning of 2024. So, kind of crazy, right? You combine all this stuff, it just seems way too much to be a coincidence. But so, like I said, this was the last slide that I'm going to show you guys. But if anyone out there, you make videos, you want to try to expand on what I just talked about, maybe find some other connections, yeah, go ahead, because I think this is really important. Nobody's really talking about this except for me that I know about because it's not in the news. Nobody expects any COVID variant to be like, significant anymore. I mean, I do. And maybe, I don't know, what's with all this connections to my personal life with Pi, December 15th. I think I was meant to expose it, right? And there are probably other people out there who are meant to take this information and expand upon it and share it to the world before it happens, So we wake up a lot more people talking about it before it happens, right? That's the way I see it. Anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.